Mm-hmm.
All right, Black Box Radio. Listen, we are in the box. We're in Baltimore. It's pretty cool. It's raining, got a little drizzling going on, but Baltimore is beautiful. The weather's breaking. It's summer. It's June, y'all. Y'all don't know about June in Baltimore. It's festive. When I tell you, we got a festival every second in June in BMore. So I want to first start and say happy Juneteeth to Africans all over the world and especially in the diaspora in the United States. I
Mm-hmm.
also want to say happy, happy, happy Father's Day to all the men who stand in the gap, who are actual fathers, who stand in the gap with other people's children, coaches, mentors. Happy Father's Day to men. So I want to say those two things. And then this weekend, oh, we just had Afram. Wait. Slow down, sis. Last
Mm-hmm.
weekend was Afram, the African American Festival in Baltimore. I mean, I'm telling you, June in Baltimore is festive. And around the whole country, June is Pride Month. And Baltimore is about to bust Pride out this weekend. I'm going to be out of town, but I want to say to everyone, happy Pride. Enjoy. Don't hurt nothing. Shake what your mama gave you. Enjoy yourself. Happy Pride. So I wanted to say all of those things before we actually start because Baltimore is on point in June. We are doing everything. We're outside. Everybody, this is I think, Nate, this is like the first kind of summer we really outside, right? After the pandemic.
Well, I don't know the way this weather been going. It's been chilly, so I
I'm
don't.
telling you, it's not hot.
Well, that's what they say about Baltimore weather this week, because it could be anything at
It
any
could be
moment.
anything. But I mean, we are
Hmm.
in June. Spring is springing. We see the beautiful colors out here. And today we're talking about art, creating a vibe. We're in a Creating a Vibe series. This is Black Box Radio. I'm Queen of B. I am a host here. We are a multimedia platform illustrating Black excellence. We platform Black people. We expose Black genius. And we disseminate information to the community and to other communities, but most
Hmm.
often to the Black community. We're Black centered. We don't play about Black people. And we talk Black, we be Black. We is Black out here. This is Black Box Radio. Listen, like, subscribe, share, do it all. Get us on the map, please. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check out our website, blackboxradio.com. And if you need to talk to someone or talk to me, blackboxradio@gmail.com. Hit us up. All right, all the business is done. It's time, y'all. It's art time. Let me tell you about ART. It's only 3 letters,
Hmm.
but it's all of our lives. I promise you. Every day that you open your eyes, you see something that is particularly art. Even if it's the paintings on your wall, it's we put on glasses, we put on our the way that we present ourselves, clothing, the color of the world, even spring. Spring gives all of these colors on the plants, on the flowers. All that's art. Art is oxygen. And so
Hmm.
this creating a vibe series is what we talk about when we talk about creatives, because a lot of times we talk about everybody else, but our creatives are everything. They create space for creativity. And so, in our Creating a Vibe series tonight, we have a creative of creatives. I learned some stuff about him 5 minutes ago, guys. Y'all don't even know. It's about to be fun up in here. We have the artist, the consummate artist, Mr. Nate.
Hmm.
What'd you say, bro? Mr. Nate.
Couser. It's
Mr.
the
Nate.
Couser.
Get it right. Mr. Nate Couser. Say hi to the people, bro.
How y'all doing? It's great to finally be on Black Box Radio. I was feeling some kind of way, but
Oh my God. No, he didn't start. Y'all see that Steph shade at the beginning. Okay, I can handle that. No
it's
problem.
okay. It's just for over 10 years, I've been a space where people come. And I never, it was rarely that I ever reciprocated that or went on other people's shows, but I actually like the interview process because I don't have to do all of the engineering and all that thinking. I just show up. That's it.
People don't know this seat here is hot. This is a hot seat. They don't get it. They think you just sit here and make it happen. It's a hot seat. So it's really good when other people who have actually done this and they understand that. Listen, the
Hmm.
host, the host joint, that ain't for the weak. I'm telling you right now.
No.
You better be ready
Yeah. Yeah.
when you sit in that seat. So Nate, listen, you
Hmm.
an artist. How long have you been an artist? Let's start there.
I've been an artist my whole life, and people say that, but I actually come from um, a family full of untapped artists, and I say
Mm,
untapped because many of the artists in my family they were they were artists for hustle. I had family members that were DJs. I had family members that could draw, that could paint.
hmm.
My grandmother and my mother were like interior artists. They
Oh,
could go into your house and just do it. I have other arts that are more administrative, creatives. Um, I have a couple family members that are just a bomb in the kitchen. Actually, one of my family members,
that food art.
Ray, Mr. Flight Fusion, now Flight Culinary. They do a lot of catering and stuff like that. Ray Davis, that's my little cousin.
Okay.
I have a lot of cooks in my family, artists, but with the exception of, I would say, honestly, say myself and my cousin Ray, none of them really do it. It was no blueprint for me. They just showed me a lot of their skill sets, and I
Hmm.
just kind of grabbed onto them, and that's just where I'm at in life. So this from day one, when it officially stamped, is when I started paying Sally Mae for it when I got to college. But I've always been an actor. I've been a dancer.
Okay.
I've tried to sing. I tried to play instruments, but I just got bored quickly.
Okay.
But my whole life.
Your whole life.
Hmm.
And most artists say that. But
Hmm.
well, first, before I even expound, let's go back. Tell us a
Hmm.
little bit about yourself. I want to know where Nate's from. Let's hear that first. Where you
Nate
from?
is a proud Baltimorean. I will fight you to the death if you talk
I
about
love
my
it.
city. I see the value in the Black Baltimore,
Mm,
and I am really very much so just an artist. Like you said, I've I confirm that because it really, I love being an artist. I love being an educator. I've been a teacher for, I was counting up the years since I was 23. I just turned 40 a couple weeks ago. So I've been a
happy
teaching
birthday.
artist and educator for a number of years in the Baltimore City public school system, actually within the DMV because I've taught in DC as well. Um, an artist, an actor, a director, a jewelry designer, and everything that I know I kind of picked up along the way and made it my own. So I'm an artist, but all the specific things that I do have been me learning and always wanting to know more. And not being satisfied with just knowing this. I always wanted to know something else. So that's me, just an all around artist. I've done almost every job in the artist field, except for like president of an art institution, but that's
Okay.
probably coming soon,
That's next.
probably in the next 10 years. Yeah.
Micah, watch out. He's coming.
If they let me in, they're a little tight over there. If they let me
They're
in.
real tight when you brown, but let me tell you something. They ain't gotta let you in. Just kick the door in, bro.
Hmm.
Your
Yeah.
genius can't be withheld. I tell you that. They can't stop genius.
I got
And
my eye on Howard though. I want a black institution
I
to
love it.
kind of
Wait a minute,
get
hold
there.
up. You just messed up because you gotta go all the way to DC when Morgan is here.
I
And I
mean,
think they graduated
Morgan
from
is fine,
Carver.
but
Didn't you
I've
graduate from
always
Coppin?
But since I went to Coppin, my dream was always to go to Howard. It just, life kind of steered me wrong. Since I started watching A Different World, my goal was
Mm,
always to go to Howard.
beautiful. Well, let's make that go
The
happen.
real the real HU.
I
Sorry,
love
Hampton.
it. Don't get in trouble. Don't get in that debate. That's a heck of a debate. Don't get in that one.
Right.
Wow. Okay. So how it is where your eyes are at. That's a beautiful eye. Okay. So
Hmm.
but remember, you don't have to go out of Baltimore. The Morgan State University is in Northeast. I just wanted you to know
It
that.
is. It is. But how am I supposed to learn from the marvelous Felicia Rashad?
That's
She's
true.
not at Morgan. She's at
You sure
Howard.
ain't. That's right. You right about that. Listen, I can't dispute that, bro. So let me. We don't have Felicia. We don't have
Right.
her. We don't have her. So I want to go back to your point before when you say none of your family because that kind of
Hmm.
resonated with me when it comes to Black people per se.
Hmm.
Because I think we are the bastion of untapped potential in so many areas.
Yeah.
We're the most it is obvious. The culture of America starts with the African. Let's be clear.
Mm-hmm.
The music of America starts with the African.
Life
The
itself.
the
If
life,
you
the
if you
language,
study if
everything.
you study not only history, but if you, as I've studied theater history, if you study theater history, what we know today as ritual, as religion, as life,
Oh, that's
all
African.
got its start in Africa.
Oh, that's African. Yes, of course.
Hmm.
Christianity. If y'all don't know, let me give you a little Sunday let me put a little bar down for the pastors.
Um.
Christianity started in West Africa. It went to Europe and got racist. So let's be
Mm,
clear. Christianity
yep.
started with us. So
Hmm.
everything per se. So when you said that about most of your family, except for the exception of you and Mr. Ray,
Hmm.
y'all are actually manifesting your art. But I
Right.
think because of our and I won't say situation, because of our existence in America, we have our eyes are on a lot of other prizes. We're trying to feed our children. We're trying to feed
Hmm.
ourselves. We're trying to get a
Survive.
foothold to survive in a place that when we're in a lion's mouth. So a lot of times our gifts, we give them away. And you see it all
Hmm.
the time. All the music is controlled by other people.
Yeah.
Everything we do is our talent. When we can run fast, we got to run for somebody else. If we can
Hmm.
throw the ball far, we got to throw it for somebody else. So
Yeah.
everything we're doing is we're catching up because of how we've been wrong. I said it, and
Yeah.
that's what's happened. And so within that oppression, I really think that oppression is a lot of the reasons why beautiful families like the Couser family was not able to kind of realize their potential when it comes to art, because I think it sits
Hmm.
in all of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Yeah.
do you think
It
about that?
definitely. I mean, it definitely does. For me, the Cousers are my father's family, but the Willises are my mother's family, and it just
Mm,
it is on both sides.
it's
And
on both sides. Yep.
all my whole brand, the whole artist exchange brand, is for family and friends. What was intended, I'll say, intended for
Okay.
family and friends. I spoke about one of my aunts who's a marvelous cook, and we used to have. I don't know how long you've been in Baltimore, but I had. There was a place called Tyrone's Chicken here, and it was a husband and wife, and the wife wound up they getting divorced, all that, and my aunt worked at that location. That location turned into, once my aunt started working there, where all their catering orders came from. So
Wow.
I have great cooks. I have fashionable aunts and cousins and such. I have, that's a part of our lineage. I have people who are great painters and great drawers. I just lost an uncle, and I
Mhm.
remember for one Mother's Day, I gave my mother a painting that I painted.
Okay.
And I never did that before. I had never, nobody, a lot of my skill sets were just stuff that I learned and I just kept inside. And as an adult, I've learned how to show them. And I remember giving her that painting, and my uncle said to me, I used to do your art homework. And he was really shocked that I created that painting because nobody saw that from me. And
Mm,
I know where I got it from. He did used to do and got me a lot of A's and such when I was younger. But it was unfortunate because he's passed away and was never able to fulfill that. And he was a cook as well, but he passed away never being able to fulfill that at 50 some years old, never being able to really see his full potential. And I just, as hard as life has gotten and has been at times, I want to showcase my art. There have been times where nobody wouldn't have known that I was dead broke, but still creating and still producing and still giving my art. Now I'm charging for it, so I'm not broke as much, but just figuring that thing out. But
yes,
yet, I definitely believe Baltimore itself is a lot of untapped potential, and it's been
absolutely.
my goal as the artist exchange to kind of spotlight that and bring that out and be of assistance to anybody who wants something creative. So I don't mind giving you the truth. If I say you need to do this for Black Box Radio and this, it's coming from a space of I see you and I want to help you and I
We're
want to,
gonna talk
I
about
want
that
you to
after. I
succeed.
want you to tell me everything, bro.
Oh,
Everything.
I create a little. Want me to get my pen and paper
Oh,
out?
get
Like,
your
I'm
pen and
joking.
paper. Because listen, we got Valerie Couser, and she is talking about the family. She said the family is
Oh,
talented. She said, "You
Uh,
guys are on it. I love you, Valerie. Come on back,
that's
subscribe,
I
sweetie.
believe
Make
that's
sure
either
you
my aunt
subscribe."
or my cousin.
Yeah, we got Valerie on here. We got one of the Cousers.
Oh,
That's
that's
me
my,
too.
I see it. That's my cousin. Say, hey, Val. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Val. Oh, we got Keisha Tucker, the Body Queens. Hey, Keisha. So, what I will say is, I think what you just said when you talked about your family, and I just expounded on, is the story
Hmm.
of Black people. It's like it's so many of us who never lived our full selves.
Mm.
We've never been able to manifest our full self due to so much from all of our from the oppression, from the trauma, from a
Hmm.
displacement. The way, it's really hard. We have done an amazing thing to get where we are and still be able to create stuff. Most of the patents were created by slaves. You know,
Well, they were correction. They were created by slave owners, but they were really the inventions of the slave.
they were. That's what I'm saying. They were. That's why I said most.
Hmm.
So a slave
Hmm.
could not own a patent because they wasn't considered a human.
Yep.
So that was the and the patent office is another. Let me break it down to the folks, and you go research yourself. But the patent office is set up as a way to corral talent.
Hmm.
That is
Yeah.
how they corral your talent, keep it and actually monetize it in their way, and then let you monetize it also. But it's going through the government. So
Yeah.
that's just that's just your greatness, your creativity. You got to give it away again. See, we're in a system where they create systems around your greatness. And so you think that is how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to go get a patent. No, someone created that. But
Right.
you have to do that because that's the way society is. But I just want us to understand that greatness sometimes isn't expressed, but we got to continue to go after expressing ourselves. And art is I think it's the venue. A
Yeah.
lot of times I think I'm like a voyeur out artist. I watch artists. Like, I'm not really an artist. I don't draw, I don't paint, I don't sing. But I watch artists, and I think they're just the most expressive people in the world. What do you think
Mhm.
that thing is about art that you have to express it? What is it?
Well, again, and this may rub people the wrong way, and it's probably why I don't get invited to many places anymore. But Black art is expressive.
Ooh, you better
Black
say it.
art, because it's coming from within us. We don't have to look outside of ourselves, steal and break from other people's culture. We don't have to do those things. A lot of our work comes naturally from us. And the ones of us now that are looking outside of ourselves, get it together. It's in you. So that means you're creating something that you're not even supposed to be a part of. And you haven't tapped into who you are. When Black people say I'm not creative, I'm not an artist, it's always a lie, because even the best business person has creativity. So get that in order. But also our art, we have a story to tell.
Yep,
And all of us have this thing in us where we have to tell this story. It's
absolutely.
just people who identify directly as artists, it's seen in us. But a
Yeah.
lot of those things, as an actor, many of the people who I've played have been people in my family. When I put a
Ooh.
character together on stage, it's somebody I know that's living and breathing, that share my DNA. It's
Mm.
not somebody who I saw walking down the street. It may be a little remnants of that, but a lot of those characters, the men that I've played, have been the men that I share a bloodline with.
That's amazing.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's Brandy Bell says, "Say it." I'm with you, Brandy. He
Hey,
he
Brandy.
he putting it down, Brandy. He preaching tonight. We got
That's
Pastor
my friend
Nate.
Brandy.
We got Pastor
Mhm.
Nate. I love it. So,
Don't say that. Don't want that.
that title you don't want.
Mm-mm.
uh, and you know what? The way that they preach, it's an art.
It is. It
Preaching,
is.
I want
That
to say,
comes from
preaching is an
us.
absolute art.
Yep.
And you see
Yep.
the way that Black people have actually are religious, or how we practice our religion. Everybody emulates.
Well,
Everybody
again,
wants to
that's
dance in
that's
their church.
theater history.
Everybody wants to do what we do.
Theater history, from the way we eulogize people to the way
Mm,
we usher life into the world, how
yep,
we bring two bodies together in a marriage, how
yep.
we get up on Sunday service, all that is theater history. And you'll realize that ritual started in Africa.
All
The
day.
way the week-long process that we bury someone, all that is African history.
That's tradition.
That's
Absolutely.
what we tap into. That's what comes from us naturally.
Yep.
It's
Yep.
only when we start reaching out to other people as they're supposed to rectify us or whatever that it starts to get muddy and it don't really sound and don't really feel the same. You can tell when a black person is reaching outward to find inspiration because it just
Mm.
don't fit them.
You know what? I love that. And but I don't, in a lot of ways, I don't blame us because we're in a system that kind of it sterilizes our Africanness. That's the goal. The goal
Yeah.
is to sterilize us to be European, so we then become something we aren't, and then we give our gifts away. So that's the
Hmm.
goal. So society is working as it should, but the question is, when are we
Hmm.
going to understand that it's all in us? The greatness is in us,
When they
and
take it all away from us,
ooh,
when
what you
they
say?
take it from us, because they've already started doing that. A lot about humanity, a lot about unity, a lot about community, a lot about civic pride is gone because we've sold it off.
Yeah.
So we can't even say they took it from us. We're selling it to them now.
Well, you know what? You're right. That's the action we've seen, but the
Hmm.
breakdown comes from the attack. See, people don't just get to this point. When you get to the point where you give away and you sell it away, you don't care about it, it's because you've been attacked and you're
Yep.
tired of it. But most of us are tired. Let's be clear. You know, it's no group of people can go through the same stuff for 400 years and be like, oh, let's do it. Let's keep it going. We tired, bro. And
We
so,
are.
huh?
I said we are.
Yeah, we tired. So
Hmm.
the thing about us is, I think that that's what keeps us though. This innate ability to create, and that's why I love artists. The innate ability to create and the innate ability to express it where others appreciate it and don't even know where it comes from. They can feel
Yeah.
it. And so that's, I think, to me is what I call equity. You can
Hmm.
if they remove black people, they remove culture. The world will suffer.
Well,
You
that
hear me?
we have art that demonstrate that. Thanks to Douglas Turner Ward, it's called a day of absence. What will happen when Black people fail to exist or when we don't show up? The world will be chaos. That's where we are right now. We're not showing up. We're not showing up in our politics, in our educational system, in our spiritual places, in our art. We're not showing up.
That's
You know,
it.
the biggest buyers of our art is not us.
Yeah. You
So
better say
when it grows in value, it does not benefit us.
that.
It
Yeah,
benefits the owner of it, which is
absolutely.
not us.
It's not us. That's true.
So
Uh,
get it together, people.
yeah, we gotta get it together. We gotta get it together. What we got? We got some Brandy Bell over here talking. Let me take off my glasses. Brandy got a paragraph. Brandy said, "Ouch." Speak on.
Shout out to my Coppin family. She's a fellow Coppinite,
Oh, she's
my
always shout
little
out to Copper.
sister.
I'm gonna give y'all a little love tonight. Y'all should have went to Morgan, but I'm gonna give y'all some love.
I look at that. Look at that. Look at that. But you have greatness from Coppin
I,
here. But it's cool.
absolutely. I salute y'all. Salute. Let me. I ain't trying to get no debate. I love copy. I don't want no problems. No want no problems, Brandy. Brandy said, "Ouch." Speak on that some more. I believe this is when artists begin to think they don't have any material. Tradition
Mm-hmm.
is our material. She's so
Yep.
right.
Yep.
She's so right.
Yep.
She's
And
so right.
that's my sister in Christ as well as art. We met each other as artists, and we went to church together. And it's just
Mm.
that's how you develop and you stay connected. But we're so often looking for ideas. That means if you're looking for an idea, you're not where you're supposed to be at. You're
Because
not in your
ideas are
lane.
inherent, aren't they?
You're
They
not
come.
in your lane. You're in someone else's lane. When you're
Woo.
trying to, get ideas from people. That's not the lane you're supposed to be in. Stick to your lane, the rivers and the lakes that you supposed to be in.
Oh, you are speaking it because a lot of people trying to find themselves, brother Nate. They go and
Yep.
they test this and we test that because we're trying to find where we are. A lot of
Hmm.
times you're creative and you don't know where that creativity sits. So you
Yep.
kind of, you're
Yep.
testing it.
Yep.
You definitely
Yep.
testing it. So I kind of understand people, but you're right. Ideas and creativity usually is inherent. And
Mm.
if it's not bubbling out of you, you might need to go where it's
Yep.
bubbling.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly what that means.
Yeah,
That's exactly, it's not your lane. We
yeah,
now do things because it made someone else successful. We're
yeah.
doing things because we think it's going to get us to this point. But when it's not happening, when you are finding yourself cheating and stealing your way through it, that ain't for
Mm.
you.
And it's not sustainable.
No, it's not.
It's not
It's
sustainable.
not.
Look, oh, we got oh my sister Terry Johnson Bay. Happy birthday.
Hey,
I saw her. Hey
that's a
Terry.
fellow arena player, an
She said Morgan's
actress.
here.
Mm-hmm.
Another, but guess who came? My brother Troy. Morgan is in the house.
Uh,
Let's
I
be
mean,
clear.
that's
We are
that's
Morgan
one
State
example.
University.
You can have your one example of
Oh
Troy.
my
You can
God.
have it.
Troy, they coming for us. Troy, they coming for us, bro. But you know the deal. We're a little outnumbered today. This is a little scary, but we're gonna let it.
I mean,
We got
they
Terry, got
coming.
Brandon, Randy, we got you.
They coming. We out here.
I love it. I love it. So let me ask you another thing, because this is something I thought about as I was coming down those stairs to talk to you. I said, you know what? As you know what I'm seeing,
Mm,
technology is changing art. It,
yeah,
what do you
it's
think about that?
changing people.
It is having a effect on how we present, how we see it. You know,
Uh,
technology is such
I
amazing.
agree. I agree with that. I think it's changing people more than it's changing art, because art is
Ooh,
going to be what it is. You can't recreate the wheel of art. All you can do is add your perspective and show somebody what you're seeing.
love
But
that.
I think what technology should be doing and what more people need to tap into is how, and shout out to Troy, we just finished working on a number of projects over the last couple of years where technology has been our friend, and we've been able to
Mm,
use that technology to show the process, to
yep,
show the work.
yep.
That people are afraid to do those things. So they use
Mm,
social media for the wrong things.
yes.
But it's technology is supposed to aid us, not
Mm,
become us. So we have
ooh,
to be careful not to make
that's a part.
technology put it at the forefront. These type of platforms, since the pandemic, I've been all virtual. Prior to before the pandemic, I still was an international platform because I was able to interview people, but this virtual platform has made it so possible for us to communicate better and broader, more broader. But technology is supposed to be an aid, an assistant. It's not supposed to be so far ahead of us that we don't even know how to control it.
Ooh, that was a bar. Technology is supposed to aid us, not become us.
Mm-hmm.
That's an
Yeah,
absolute bar. I love
yeah.
it. I got my sister, one of my first friends in BMore at Morgan State. Let's be clear, since y'all trying to say Coppin is in the house. I got Sister Ronnie here. Hey,
Hey,
Ronnie,
Bonnie.
that's my
That's
baby.
my my jewelry hookup. She's a big supporter of my jewelry company.
Oh, is that right?
See, I know
Okay,
them.
well,
I
maybe
know
she
people. I
supports
got
you.
some
Maybe she'll
connections.
support me more. How about that, Ronnie? Just play. I love Ronnie. Love you, Ronnie. But that's beautiful. Cause you listen, that's what we're moving into. So you segue, Ronnie segged us right into the next movement, your businesses. So not only are you this amazing artist, multidisciplinary artist,
Hmm.
you have a degree in fine arts, but you're also a small business owner. So let's talk about that a little.
Well, first of all, my business is not small. I've sold my jewelry around the world.
Oh,
Um,
I
I
love
am
him.
a
I
conglomerate.
love him, y'all. He said he.
Um, Jewelry. I'm gonna tell you it. That's how I've been an artist my whole life. But when I touch something, when I put my hands on it, I focus all my attention on it, and I make it mine. Jewelry
Mm,
design came to me. A friend of mine, Miss Elaine Foster. I was in a theater group with Rosin called Kaumba, and she had two little pretty little girls that were just so rambunctious. And Miss Elaine was bringing her jewelry supplies. Miss Elaine is a crafter,
okay.
and she brought them things to make jewelry with and bracelets. And I watched her do that, and I
Hmm.
wanted to learn that. And I taught myself that with the help of Miss Elaine and my other friend, Miss Art by Cleatrice, Cleatrice Sobey. With the two of their helps, I started making jewelry, sitting right in the quad at Coppin, making jewelry, and really um, getting into it. And thanks to two of my good friends, Tracy Jiggets, who has been the face of my jewelry, who is why all the women in Baltimore must have my jewelry, is because of
Absolutely.
Tracy.
Tracy's here. Hey, Tracy. Tracy, say
Tracy here,
hi. Yeah,
she
hey,
here.
Tracy.
Tracy, and then I had a friend, Tanelia, who gave me a love offering
Mm,
and helped me start my first business. And
beautiful.
I always tell people she gave me a check for $400, and it was at the craziest time. I got laid off my job and got was living off of severance pay, and she gave me a love offering, and I used that whole check to start a business. And my first business was Bash Blue Jewelry. So that's I've been doing that since I was probably like 23. So that's
Mm.
also about 17 years.
So
Mhm.
Vashti Blue, what does that mean? Because I see that around you. I see that in your business. I see
Backshot
it.
Blue Jewelry is the name of the jewelry brand, the art jewelry company. It came from one of my favorite movies called The Telephone with Whoopi Goldberg, and I stole the name from her. But then I learned after that that is also a biblical name,
It
like
is.
Backshot McKenzie. So
Yep, it is.
it wound up working out perfectly because its meaning is really connected to who I am. Like everything that I know how to do creatively came from my mother, my grandmother, my aunts. So it's really centered around women and really just making them look good. I said I have some really fashionistas in my family, some fashionable women in my family, and it's just paying homage to them and really respecting that I come from especially from the women in my family. But yeah, that was my first business, Bash Top Blue Jewelry. The Artist Exchange came a few months later because I was like, oh, I can start all these businesses, I can do all this, and I had that energy to
Yeah.
really start it. And I say that, a lot of my family is untapped business, but a lot of them were strugglers and they were hustlers and they knew how to make it work, and they often had their own side businesses along with a 9 to 5. So
Yeah.
that energy and that yearning to own a brick and mortar business, a business, really came directly from my family, but it was due in part to the artists that I was surrounding myself with. That Backshot Blue became my first business.
I love that. Every time when I hear people's stories, it shows how environment and your life and your family is so important to your outcome. You know,
Representation.
it's everything.
Hmm.
The things you pick up, the unspoken things. Like people say, you listen to your parents, but a lot of time you're looking at what your parents are doing. So
Yep.
you're soaking up the action more than you're listening.
Hmm.
And so
Yep.
a lot we have to understand that your environment, your family, all that matters. It shapes,
Yeah.
and then later on down the line, you wonder like why you did this. It's usually somebody's been around you all your life. You've
Yep.
seen it. Yeah,
Yep.
you've seen
Yep.
it. So that's a beautiful thing. So art, man. So when it comes to Baltimore, bruh,
Hmm.
Baltimore got the flyest, the littiest, the
Yep.
hottest, the poppinest art
Yep.
scene. Listen, I've been a lot of places. This BMore, I mean, New York has a fabulous art scene, but it's expected. You
Yeah.
understand? It's expected the amount of cultures and the amount of access New York can
Yeah.
give you is different. But when
Hmm.
it comes to Baltimore being a smaller a city in a smaller state,
Yeah.
and the demographics of the city being so African, that's first of all, and the
Hmm.
culture of it, the beat of it it's just amazing. The art scene here. What do you think is next for art in Baltimore? I mean, art is bubbling in Baltimore. Let's talk about that a little.
Well, I mean, to be honest, Baltimore's always been an art hub. It's
Mm,
always been, whether it be the industrial system we have here with our manufacturing. London Fog was created here, was
really?
made here rather. The music scene, the club scene, from the
Yeah.
Billie Holidays,
Yep.
and
Pennsylvania Avenue.
on Pennsylvania Avenue. Shout out to the
Yeah.
Black Arts District,
Yep.
the new Black Arts District. Um, and we've had it, the comedy clubs, whether it was Red Fox, um, uh, the whole system, the Art Social Club,
Yep.
all of these things that
We had
Baltimore
a
has
piece
been
of the
popping.
Chitlin circuit. You
Right.
know, we had
We were a big part of that
we
chitlin
were a
circus.
big
We
part of it
still
until they
are.
dropped that.
We
Exactly.
still are. Whether we have a phenomenal history in comedy, in
Yep.
live jazz music,
Yes.
and even hip hop. There were aspects of hip hop. Andre Pharrell, one of the biggest
Yep.
A&Rs of the hip hop community from Baltimore. Got his start
Okay.
here. Like, there's a lot of talent that we have here. I don't know if you're familiar with Drew Hill,
Of
the
course.
Fudgery. Oh, Drew Hill came as a result of having the Fudgery downtown at
Hanging
one
at the
point.
harbor and making
Right. So
fudge. Yep.
we have a talented history here. The theater, the Morse Mechanic Theater, the theater I saw my first uh, Broadway style production, is now being leveled out and probably gonna be office buildings or a parking garage or something.
Is
But
that for real? I didn't
right,
know that.
right. Many plays started here. This used to be a roadhouse. This used to be a roadhouse city. For many of the big productions that you see, they were tried here first. Now you
Mm.
see that being done in Atlanta or places like that. But
Yeah.
this used to be and is a mecca. Now today we have the poetry scene that is big
Yeah.
here. Comedy is trying to ease its way back up. Theater is so
Jazz.
prevalent in this city and it's gotten a rebirth. Music, from
Yeah.
hip hop to jazz. Like, we have great people that live here,
Yeah.
that still live here. Our history is so deep in the city when it comes to art. It's just now white people have laid claim to it. So now, oh my God, Micah has brought art to Baltimore. No, not even close. When Michael was a room somewhere with 5 artists in it, we still were what was making the city pop. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit
I
older, so
love it. Come on.
I have to be
Come on.
honest. So
I love it.
we've
Well, you
been
know,
we what they
I
say. My students say, like, we've been.
yeah, you've been jiggy. That's true. I spoke to
We've
someone
been.
about Michael on who's a actually administrator at Michael on Saturday, and I was
hmm
saying like you cannot be first of all one of the most expensive art institutes in the country,
hmm
the number one
World
art
renowned. That's a world renowned school.
world
All under
renowned, the
John
number
Hopkins.
one art institute in the country, and
hmm
don't have and not have any relationship with the people around it. Michael has no relationship with the with the with the community. That's a
Well, that's
problem.
by design. That's done by design.
It's a
I know
problem.
plenty of students who are not black who have said they were told not to go beyond the boundaries of, Mount Royal and Charles Street. They were told not to do those things. That's by design that happened. But they're starting to let a lot of us in there, and they're using a lot of our talents to promote themselves.
Yep.
Our former governor, his wife was the president of that school, for a long time. So you saw this huge Asian population, which is great. We need all cultures in the box, but we have often been overlooked, and you let one of us in at a time, one of us in at a time. And then when that person pop, they lay claim to it.
Yep. That's
That's
true.
why I said I don't want Micah to get credit for my work. I would rather either Morgan or Howard or Bowie to get that credit. I don't want that school to get credit for my talent.
Absolutely. I
Because that's
love
all
it.
they do.
I love it. I love it.
hmm
And you're so right. I think that that's a problem. And as I talk to them, I hope we can have a more expansive conversation. But you
hmm
cannot have this just like this big mecca of art
Right.
and a place that just bleeds art and culture and have
hmm
really no real connection with the community. That's an absolute. And a lot of those people who come to Micah come from other countries. They
Yes.
don't really experience African people. How about that? They don't
Well,
even
the
experience
thing is,
what they're.
a lot of them learn the trick, and some of them, the smart ones, have immersed themselves in our culture. If they
Yeah,
were smart, they would have. And then the other ones have done what they've always done,
feel
kept
it.
a distance.
Yeah,
But the problem ultimately is, and I've worked in white spaces with artists most of my adult life. And
mhm,
one of the things is they don't value our work because there's a thing, and I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but what I've noticed is other cultures, mostly white cultures or European cultures, they have to look outside of themselves They have a rich culture that they can track directly back to the village their family came from. But a lot of their work is they take a little bit of that and then they reach out and try to add on a little hip hop, a little black culture, a little Asian culture, a little Hispanic culture, and they make it theirs. And then they create art as if they created it. Whereas though we're not that conceptual, we have work within us. We have art within us. We have history within us, and it's in our DNA. So we can sing a song, make one run, and you can feel culture in that.
You're right.
Other cultures, not so much. It's similar to Asian culture, similar to Hispanic culture. You see the culture in them. You feel it when they create. We're the same way, but our work has never really been seen because it doesn't take much effort for us to do that. So they don't see that because it doesn't take a lot of hard work. They don't think that it's worth anything. And I've been in spaces like that. So
I
that's one of the
really, I
biggest
really
problems.
think, and you're so correct. I love what you just said. I want to say ditto, but I
Hmm.
think that's intentional too. Listen, I maybe want to break it down. It's just like when you walk into a room, right? And
Right.
and say that you're a scout, a model scout.
Hmm.
You have all these beautiful people sitting there, but this one person is just amazing. Like
Right.
everybody's beautiful, but this one person
Hmm.
is amazing. You know they're gonna win. You're gonna have the little contest, but you could tell that this is
Right.
this is it, right? That's what black
Hmm.
people are. We are it.
Right.
And so if you let it know it's it, how do you control it? And so this let's talk about how do you control
Hmm.
something that knows it's powerful. The reason
Well,
why,
I mean,
huh?
so one of the things that has to happen that had been happening is community.
Yes.
Most of the things that have popped off for Black culture, you see a team behind it. When you dig and do your research, one of the things that I learned, and her name is out of my head. Are you familiar with the Baltimore School of the Arts?
Hmm. A
That was
little.
started
Not
by
a
a
lot. A
group.
little.
That was started by a group of Black people out of Morgan.
Didn't know that.
The woman who is the face of that, and her name is out of my head, but
Troy.
many of
Throw it
the
in the chat, Troy. I know
yeah,
Troy knows.
Troy knows it.
Troy,
Troy
drop it in the
worked
chat.
with her.
Okay.
Same people that started the UB Blake Center and such. These people created these atmospheres, these spaces for us, and it was
Mhm.
easily usurped by other cultures because we then had to begin to, well, if we go keep these doors open, we need to bring on this person and that person
And we got
and
to
this
go get
person.
their money.
We got to go get
Mhm.
their money, and not just their money, but their influence,
Well, money, their resources
their
all together.
resources.
Yep.
And that's been the way that we've been able to sustain ourselves as artists by the validation of white people. And we have to stop doing that. Go get their money. The grants are out there. Go get their money. But just know a lot of that money is your money.
Ooh,
Them
all of it.
taxes that you pay,
All of
that's
it.
your money. Because a lot of that is government funded. That's
Yep.
your money.
Hmm.
So don't let them make you think that they're helping you out because many of them are trying to, but the system is still the way it is. So
Hmm.
we have to figure out how to get back to community so our work is valuable and we don't need to go outside of any other groups. So when your little nephew is doing a little theater thing and his little theater music thing, go out and support him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pour into him.
Yes.
The same way you pour into Artscape and those other pour into those individuals, those young people. Some of
Yep.
them older family members that still been searching and trying for fame. Support them.
Support them.
A
Yeah.
lot of our work, a lot of our work has been nepotism. We knew people in industries and we
Hmm.
got our way into the door and we fought our way. But a lot of that was community lifting people up. At some point, we've moved back and we've taken our hands off of our own people
Yep.
and we're waiting for them to be white successful for us to pouring into them. But what we're
That's it.
really doing is pouring into white establishments, and they're trickling down the money to our artists and our business
Absolutely.
owners and such.
But all those attention, that's what systems do. It breaks down the community, it breaks down the unity, it breaks down all the ETs. That's what I call it: community,
Hmm.
unity, reality. All of those gets
Right.
breaking down by the oppressive system. So everything is intentional. We just have to see it and understand our
Yeah.
greatness and go forward. Like Valerie said, keep the money in the circle. Keep it in
Yeah.
the circle, damn it. Keep
And
the
that's
money
something
in the
that
circle.
they've done plenty of they've done plenty of studies.
Mhm.
In the black community, our dollar does not rotate
Oh
as
no.
many times as other cultures do.
Nope.
You know, the reason, and there's historical factors into this. And I just saw Troy put Margaret Armstrong.
Margaret
She
Armstrong. Yep.
started the Baltimore School of the Arts. Look up Margaret
Let
Armstrong.
me
Don't go
write
to the
that.
website because you're not going to find her face there.
Really?
And the director, the executive director of that school now, the first black woman to ever have that position, first black person outside of those
I
founders
need to
to
see that
have that.
sister, right, Troy? I need to see her.
Rosalind Carson,
Rosalind.
support
Yes.
her efforts, support what she's doing there. First time ever in history, we see a overwhelming voice from the Black Student Union at a school that was started by Black people.
Oh
But
wow.
it's the way it is, and we have to begin to say those people's name and pay homage to those individuals in a way that we have not done before, because our history is so. They're taking books out of the system.
Yep.
They're taking, history out. They don't want to hurt little Johnny and little Samantha's feelings. So our history gets erased because little Samantha and little Billy don't want to have their feelings hurt about the actions of their parents.
It's not little Samantha. It's Big Daddy Samantha and Big Mama Troy. It's them.
Uh-huh.
They're
Mhm.
fragile. They didn't want to hear what happened, so
Right.
they blame it on the children.
They
Listen,
blame it on the children.
children can
Right.
adjust. Children adjust
Children
every
only
day.
know what you tell them.
They don't thank you. And they go into a room and they play together. Don't give a damn what happened. That's
Right.
adult stuff. We're putting it on children, but that's adult stuff. That's because
Mm-hmm.
it's very hard to hear that you're malicious by nature.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to
Yeah.
hear. You
Yeah.
can tell somebody to be a Christian, but when you would have had Christian, you was killing and maiming and raping and stealing. So then now you tell me I should be the Christian. But you
But
had all
you
the
have to
power to help.
also, so that's a truth. But when we look on the other side of that spectrum, the truth is also in us. We started sending our children to PWI institutions and schools to get us out of them and put more of what they got in them. That's also a part of the problem. So we can blame them all day,
No,
but
I'm
what
not
are we
blaming
doing?
them. We have to
No, I'm
be
just saying
complicit.
no, but we do that.
We
We
have to be
blame
complicit.
others all day long,
Yeah.
and we fail to mention what we're doing.
Yeah.
I just saw a video on Facebook. Somebody tagged me in it, and it was a black teacher admonishing her students for using black vernacular. Stop using, and like she went through a whole thing about not liking the word fitna. And if you use fitna, we gonna put you in this box over here. And that is what our students is getting from us. And it's
While they
nothing
don't
wrong with
teach
you
them how
teaching
to
the
write
other
cursive.
options,
You tell
right?
them don't say fitna, but you don't teach them to write cursive. I just don't understand these
Yeah,
things.
but in cities like Baltimore, we ain't said nothing about the Baltimore Huns. We have never talked about how they spoke.
Oh wow,
We've never done that.
that's
I'm
true.
sorry. I'm sorry if you want to be a Baltimore Hun out there. What my friend uh, Miss Naomi just I think she's transitioned. She was the president or the face of them for the
Mhm.
last year or so. But I'm all for it. I'm all for diversity, but don't diversify because you want to clean up your history. Clean up your history,
Ooh,
and you'll
clean.
naturally diversify.
I love that.
Clean it up.
Clean it up. And I
Mhm.
really always when we come on, our goal is to uplift black people. And I think we spend a lot of time talking about them people.
I'm sorry.
No,
I'm
I don't have
sorry.
I do it too.
The thoughts and opinions of Nate is Nate's alone, not of Black Box Radio.
I don't know
I'm
about that.
sorry.
Some of that's black box radio too. I'll be damned. But what I am saying is that I think I made this space for us to love on each other. And
Right.
a lot of times, loving on each other, we have to look at why we don't. And so when people say, "Well, oh, they always talking about white people," but it's not really true. White people aren't our
Mhm.
only issue. I mean, they're an issue, Let's be clear.
Right.
They're not our only issue. A lot of the
Hmm.
issues is our trauma. I think that's our number one issue is our
Yeah.
own trauma. What we've got,
Yeah.
the oppression in the way that we move in the world and how we
Right.
shrink down our greatness to fit around folks who are minuscule.
Yeah.
So I think the bigger thing is we want to celebrate Black people and understand that Black people are art. When I was sitting on the joint, bro, and I watched these Black men walk down the street, let me make you understand. A Black man's
Hmm.
pimp, the way a Black man walk is art, boo boo. And the way they
It's
take their
by
shit,
design.
it's so aerodynamic when they walk. I said,
Hmm.
"Look, look at these Black men. I mean, the way that they show up in the world is art.
Yeah.
Everybody emulates it. The way they greet each other. I mean, I just look at how Black men are style, what they bring to society, the hat to the back. You know,
Right.
it's just some amazing. I mean, Black men is just amazing. And so when I say art, it's us. Now
Hmm.
it's the oxygen that we need to breathe. Absolutely. I think that it exudes from us so much. It's what we need, it's what we are. What do you think
Tell your
about
families. I mean, it's as simple. Tell your family story.
it? Mm,
I mean, it's enough theaters in this country. Is enough podcasts in this country. Is enough bookstores in this country for you to simply tell your family story and not be embarrassed by it.
wow. Just
And
tell
that's
it.
something that I learned from a very young age. I learned my great grandmother, who I was raised with, was a numbers runner, and she
Mm.
was arrested. And the whole story behind that, and the fact that now the lottery is legal.
You better know it. Who they get the lottery from? Let's just say it. Where did the
I'm just
lottery
saying,
start?
this it you know my and I one of my biggest regrets is I never got her story. I got to do that report on her. I believe I
Mm,
was like in the fourth or third grade. I remember that, but my biggest regret is not being who I am today
yeah.
to capture that story
Yeah.
and all the stories. Somebody who was born in 1905, I lived in a house with that
Wow.
for
I didn't
15,
meet my
16
great grandmother.
years. I
It's
grew
amazing.
up with that, and did not understand what girth of knowledge I had at my
Yeah.
disposal. But I learned respect for that, and
Yeah.
we have to teach our children. I was running late for this because I was on the phone with a young man that I'm mentoring now, and he's lost respect for that because people have gotten out of the space of putting their hands on children, not physically, but mentoring. Myself and Troy Burton. Troy is who I myself proclaim mentor right now. And
That's
he's
beautiful.
stepped in that gap where my generation, we lost mentors.
Yeah.
People only began to mentor you if you showed promise. They didn't mentor the young man, or for men, typically don't get that support until they're already in a penitentiary. And
Wow.
now they're back home trying to pull it together, or
Wow.
they're so far gone in a given circumstance that they need somebody to step in. But often
Mm,
it's somebody that don't look like us, or it's typically somebody that looks like us when they're getting paid to
mm,
be there. So we
mm-hmm.
really have to bring back that idea of mentorship because we're losing our creatives, we're losing our intelligent people to the commercial side of business, the commercial side of art. Because
Mm-hmm.
we gotta survive, we gotta eat, we gotta survive. So I don't knock people, but we're losing valuable artists that are finding more comfort on the other side of that grass than at home.
That's
So
that's unfortunate.
yeah,
That is
that
unfortunate. And Baltimore is like it is a breeding ground for art. It really is. It's bubbling out of
mhm,
every piece of Baltimore. I mean, you can go to
every piece.
every piece. It's some jazz is coming back like a. I
It ain't
mean,
never went anywhere.
but the younger presentation of like younger people who are actually playing. I mean,
But
Clarence,
a lot of them are
Clarence Ward the third.
mimicking. A lot of them are mimicking what they saw.
Yeah,
They're not really connected to it. You don't feel it because they're reaching outside of themselves to create that.
yeah.
I have a lot of young artists that are great musicians, but they are caught up on being discovered, and they're not
Mm,
really grooming themselves in the arts. One of the things that I love about Morgan Knights is you all have a lineage of a music department, and they can always go back to a Nathan Carter or
Yeah,
this individual or that individual to
yes,
say, this is where I got it from.
yes.
We have some great talent. Mesa, a
Maybe
phenomenal singer, still lives here.
still,
She
yeah,
could
I
have, she could
know.
have lived anywhere in the world, but she's here.
Yep.
We still have Troy Burton. Troy Burton could be anywhere in the world right now, but
The
he's here.
amazing Troy Burton is here.
There's a lot more people that I've been blessed to be a part of their circle or learn from them. Mama Rashida, Mama Kay, all of
Oh,
these individuals that live here.
two
The
amazing
Box
women.
today, I've been blessed to be able to work with them or talk to them and get some wisdom from them, but they're here
Yep.
and we don't value them. And
Yep.
it's not just buying a ticket to their concert or supporting their play or buying their book. Support them.
Yep.
Really support them. Like,
Come
you
out.
know, just support them.
Yep. I love that. And you mentioned some powerful names there, bro. I got to give you that. Mama
Hmm.
Kay, Mama Rosita. They are the art
All
meccas.
mamas and babas that I can call right now.
It's just amazing. So we also not only do we exude art, we have the in Baltimore, we have the brilliant asset of going to older artists. We have elder
Hmm.
artists
Right.
where we can actually learn from. That's a beautiful thing. A lot of times you're creating on a humble because you don't really
Yeah.
have, but here there's a
Yeah.
plenty of folks you can access. And
World
so
renowned artists. World
world renowned
renowned artists who chose to be international from a 410 area code.
yeah, you better know. You better say it. That's
I mean,
you.
they could have lived anywhere else, but they're here. We
You're
don't
even
even
on
utilize it.
you have an international jewelry line. So
I've sold my jewelry around the world. I got the receipt, so
I love
I'm
it.
just saying.
Did you put your shirt up?
I did. No, I'm a little hot.
Oh, okay.
I turned the air off, so this would be a good feed today.
Oh, I love
I don't
that.
do
So
that
you
for
you
many
willing to get
people.
hot for me, bro?
I don't do it for many people, so this feels privileged at this
So
moment.
keep it going.
Yeah, keep it
I
going.
get it. I get it. You're funny, Nate. I didn't know you was so funny.
I mean, I've done a little improv. I got a little comedic timing.
You know what I've seen from you? I thought you were very quiet and reserved, but I'm hearing a lot tonight. I'm so glad. That's why I like doing this because I see so much more, and I love what I'm seeing from you tonight.
Well, I was raised by a great grandmother, so you speak when necessary.
Mm,
You use your words when you need them. I know when I'm on. But when I turn this off and this interview is over, I'm gonna be quiet Nate again. And that's who I really am, a shy person
mm,
outside of my work. When I'm in front of a class or on a stage, that turns off. I'm very shy in rehearsal. I'm very shy in my art world. But when I'm on,
mhm.
that's it. So if you just see me at the event, you're not gonna see me being the life of the party. If I'm the host or if I'm working, then you'll hear me. But outside of that, I'm quiet. And that's part of that is I was raised, my great grandmother lived in my home. So I learned how to be specific and be meaningful with what I have to say.
Great, great. Listen, that was a great answer.
Hmm.
Love it. Understand. So the last
Hmm.
thing, one of the last things I'm going to ask you, because I can't believe it's been 57 minutes, and I love it. Let me give a shout out to Valerie. This Valerie, she active. Valerie, I give you a shout out. Make sure you subscribe. You got to come back, Valerie. I love you. Oh my goodness. Shout out, Valerie. But I want to say, being in the jewelry business, right,
Hmm.
and being a male.
Okay.
Has that been an issue? Because when I hear you say about your jewelry and your big beautiful earring, I gotta come see because I love me some earring. I love jewelry, so I need
Uh-huh.
to come see you for sure. But
Okay.
I
Pull
really,
up.
yeah, I got to pull up. I got to pull up. You got earrings. You got my girl Ronnie in there. I got to come see you.
Hmm.
So how's it being a male in the jewelry business that usually you're selling to females?
For in the beginning, wasn't difficult because I was selling to my people. Like I
Mhm.
was at Coppin, I was selling to my Coppinites. So
Sure.
they knew me to be an artist. They knew Nate was creative and he was just trying something new. So let me support him. So like I said, my friend Tanelia, gave me a check to some because she believed in my jewelry line. My friend Tracy would just take pictures every time I say, "Put this on and take this picture." She still does it. You know, so it wasn't difficult. It was when I left or when I moved off of the campus and began to sell my jewelry. People played in my face, but I had something for them. I always had a friend that would come and sit at my booth with me. And you can think that they make this because I know where the money's going at. I know where this cash is going. But I recently have begun to step out. And the last 5 or 6 years, I began to be the face of what I'm doing. And I made it very clear that I make this. It's not it was one time I was about to be sued by someone who thought I was ripping off someone else's jewelry line, but it was mine. I owned the business. It was mine. These were my designs. I don't buy jewelry and resell it. I make it. I create it from scratch. And a lot of
Hmm.
people don't think men are capable of that.
And you could do
And
custom then.
yeah,
So
and well, I well, a thing that I started doing was I would start making my jewelry at events. Before I had an art studio, I just did vending events, and I would always be at the table either crocheting or making something or designing something. And I mean, I'm still kind of quiet in it, but people know me. They know me from making jewelry now. Like I have people like Ronnie who
yeah,
come to me and ask me for pieces. And I had people who literally I used to sell on Etsy around the world,
yeah.
Italy, Spain, bunch of places in Europe. I still have people from those countries that have been supporting me from when I was on Etsy, and they still order from me. So I'm a little creative.
Yeah, well, not little. Listen, we don't say little because when I said small business, you said
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I'm real intentional with my words. I try not to use words that diminish, that
you
shrink,
right.
that erase.
That's it.
Especially me, because words are powerful and they
Yeah,
have to seek out the mission of the tongue. So if I talk
absolutely.
about my small business all the time, it will continue to be a small business.
I so agree with that. Is that we got to understand that the words that come in your body is a system and it understands what you're speaking.
Yeah,
So
and they have
speak
to do
life
what you
into
tell them
yourself.
to do.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
gotta seek out the mission of the tongue.
That's it. Oh, I love that. Man,
Hmm.
you're powerful, bro. I definitely love that. So we've been here an hour. This has been a great conversation. We've talked.
Maybe you need a longer show. Who
Oh,
knows?
y'all see he gonna come for me. This is how he do. I love man. And the show could be longer, but I don't want to bore anybody. It's hard to keep people in space over an hour. Even though Valerie is rolling with us. If anybody ain't gonna roll, Valerie's gonna be here.
They've been coming in and out. I've been looking. They've been
Yeah,
coming
they
in and
have been
out.
coming in and out. Yep, they sure have.
Hmm.
So I really enjoyed this. I mean, I'm like I told you, I'm the voyeur artist. It's like I'm very
Okay.
creative. I create, but I'm not I don't draw. So I want other people to know that not only artists draw, they don't all sing. They
Yeah.
don't. You can be a creative. You can, like you
Yep.
said, your aunt food art,
Hmm.
and being able people loving your food. That's a art.
Hmm. Yeah.
And so pastors, they're preaching and they're explaining art,
Yeah.
so we all have art in us. So please look in yourself and develop that art thing, right, Nate?
Yeah. I mean, and do what is for you.
Yes.
You know how many people bring me bags of beads because they saw me making jewelry and decided to go do it for themselves and realize, oh, this is work. Here, you take this. I have literally bags of jewelry supplies that people bring me because they saw a way to make extra money, but it's too much.
That's
It's
it.
too much. It's work. And if you're not passionate about it, you just don't. And I'm a Gemini, so I can juggle multiple things at one time. And I love picking up new skill sets, but I stay in my lane. I do. I do a lot, but all of it makes sense when you really look at it. And I just don't. And I want people to continue to support me, continue to support platforms like this. I'm doing a lot. To this weekend, I am with the Black Arts District. I came up with an idea to help bring some awareness and some support and resources to artists and business in general. And they've been sponsoring event that I co-curate and co-host with Shinya Wright. And it's called Black to the Future. We do this one Saturday out of the month. It's at the Historical Art Social Club. While they're under renovations, we are using their downstairs space to host our event. And the Black Art is within the Black Arts District, which spans from um, Pennsylvania and Dolphin all the way up to Monroe in Pennsylvania Avenue.
Okay, it
And
goes that far. So it goes, that's pretty okay. So
and
that's
it's a couple blocks over
okay.
on both sides that it
That
expands as
extends for
well.
you. Okay,
hmm
wow.
But we do that every Saturday. So come on out to that. We're giving away two $500 grants every month, but you have to be there by 7 p.m. to sign up. At the Art Social Club, we have vendors. We have a workshop every month. I find a great person to do a workshop, and they do art-led ones, business resources. We often have other resources. This month, we have a young lady who is helping us to bring back spirituality into our Black businesses, and really connecting with that and getting rid of the bad energy that we sometimes bring in and allow into our spaces. So she'll be there. We'll also have, there's always a DJ there. This great resources. Next month is geared towards children. So we'll have a children-led workshop. And it's not just the workshop. The workshop is kind of the heart of it, and everything else around it is about networking and doing some great things. I also have some other projects coming up this year.
Well, first of all, what time is your Black to the Future? What time? You didn't say that.
7 p.m.
7 p.m.
until
Okay.
we about to get up out of there. So normally 7 to 10,
7.
but
Okay.
sometimes we go a little bit longer.
All
But this
right.
is more so
I would like
networking.
to know the one for next month. I'm out of town for this one, but the next one
The next month is July the 15th.
Okay, I'm gonna put my out of town around that. I want to check that out.
Uh-huh.
It's my girl.
But always go to my pages. There's plenty of them. I post everything that I'm doing and that's happening in the community. But come on out to that. In October, I've gotten a grant from the Black Arts District as well as Black Pride to be able to host a Black Pride event. People don't often know this is regular Pride in the month of June, but Black Pride is actually in October. So I'll be hosting an event within the Black Arts District. It's called Rainbow Skate, and we'll be honoring. I can't really put all the details out there yet, because the flyer will be coming out. The promotion for it will start in July. And we're looking for vendors. We're looking for sponsors. We're looking for media partners. All those things. Hint, hint. But we'll
I'm
be
here
doing a
for
Pride
y'all.
in October.
You know the Black Arts District. Y'all don't talk to me. I need y'all to talk to Black Box. Listen, I'm ready.
You got to go in there, kick down the door. It ain't gonna come to you. A closed mouth will not get fed.
I mean, I know all of them folk over there. Who mouth closed? My mouth always open. But it's all good.
Figure out where you fit in and get in there.
It's all good. It's all good. I love
Come get your grant next month. Come get that grant.
Let me tell you something. Anything that's uplifting Black people, I'm down for. So the Black Arts Issues, I'm down for. I love that sister running in Miss Poetry. What's her name?
Lady Breon.
Yeah, Miss Lady Breon, the poetry queen of Baltimore. So I definitely want to come out to that October. I'm gonna check that out also. But I want to come next month to your Black to the Future. Check
July the 15th.
Talk to the people. Okay, July 15th. Next month is your Black, and this weekend is the one this month, right?
Yes. The 24th is the one for this month.
24th is this month. So Nate, listen, I really appreciate your genius. I really appreciate your candidness, the shade that you gave me from the door. I love the shade. Give me some more. But I really I wanted to have this conversation about art, especially as June is so festive in Baltimore, and so many colors, the Afram and the Pride, and then all of these, the Father's Day, so much things are going on, and spring is springing. And so we see all the colors in the plants and the flowers. So art is that. Art is the thing that gives us life. It breathes oxygen in us as people. It gives us everything. So I really appreciate you being an artist and bringing that to Black Box Radio tonight. We really, really appreciate your genius. Thank you for coming by.
No problem.
I appreciate it.
Thank
Can you give
you.
us your last jewel? We need Nate's jewel before we roll up out of here.
Um, do what you're supposed to be doing for you. Keep your mouth off of people,
Good.
and on the business that pays you. That's all I can say. It's a lot of chit chatter about what people do and who they are. First, before you talk about somebody, make sure you know them. Make sure you've had a conversation with them and learned yourself. But definitely, mind the business that pays you. And remember, the person to your right, the person to your left. And if you can't do anything more than that, just make sure you're supporting those two individuals. And if everybody does that, we'll all be good. But yeah.
That's true. I love that.
Mhm.
That's great inspiration. I want to again to say thanks to every Dr. Doc came in here. That's my man, my partner at Doc in the Box. We got Kissy. Kissy came in. Hey, Kissy Smith. Sister Valerie, listen, I want to say salute to you. You was here the whole time and you bad. Come back. Subscribe, Sister Valerie. We had Troy, we had Tracy, had Sister Terry, Johnson Bay, who's always in the art scene, always supporting
Mhm.
everybody.
That's
So
my fellow
Ronnie,
arena player.
yep, arena play. So we had a very brand. Can't forget Brandy. We had a very stout crowd you brought with you, your family. So I want to say good night to everyone. Thank you so much for tonight. Listen, guys, have a great June. It's almost over. Pride is this week. Enjoy that. I see you guys next month. I don't think we're not coming back on this month. We might do another little something this month, but more than anything, we got some stuff for you next month. You guys be blessed. Like, share, subscribe. We box stepping out. Give me them deuces, Nate. We out of here. Where your deuces? There they go. Good night, guys. Peace. Don't go nowhere, Nate. You stay there.